Okay, you has got to do something about that horse shit. That's twice now. And I know exactly what it is when I click on participants, because it'll show to the left over here, it shows how many people are in the room, and it shows if somebody has clicked like. And now that show right now it shows one person. And if I was to go over here and click participants, which now it's not even showing it, there. Now I can see. Hi, Dragon. Yeah, see, that's twice it's done that shit to me, where the whole chat box will just disappear, and I can't see anybody who's in here. I can't see what they're typing. Nothing. So right on. Okay, so now I'm not touching nothing except my beer. So how are you, Dragon? I never did ask you why. So I've always known you as Dragon Spheres, but you've changed your name, I think, a couple times, maybe. Yes, I can see it. And yeah, I've always been curious as to why you changed it. Do you just like Mistra better? Because I thought Dragon Spheres was pretty damn cool. So, but Mistra, I mean, that's pretty cool too. So, anyway, I'll wait till I'd like for like 3 or 4 people at least to be in here before we start talking about the main topic. So, oh, I got into the lore D&D more and wanted something new. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, they're both cool names, so you know. But it's just whenever I see Mistra, I instantly think dragon. So for Dragon Spheres. So, well, we got 2 people in here now, so we'll wait. Well, one went away. So if we get a few more people in here, we'll talk about. Have you played? While we're waiting, have you played Diablo 2, the original Diablo 2? Because I never did play Diablo 2. I never played Diablo 1 or 2. And I think I might have tried Diablo 2, the original, for a short period. And it seemed to me, it was very much, of course, as it's supposed to be. It's hack and slash, hack and slash, hack and slash, right? Just kill dozens and dozens and dozens, And I was used to like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that, where it was a lot of, you could pause and then you could select, you had multiple people in your party and you could select what each party member was going to do, and then you could unpause it and let them do their thing and all that. And so the Diablo series, to me, it was counterintuitive to what I liked. However, when I played Diablo 3, I enjoyed Diablo 3. I just never finished it. But I never went back and tried Diablo 2 again. And I have people in my D&D group who think I've committed some kind of felony because I never played Diablo 2. So and now that it's going to be remastered, it's like, well, here's my chance to play it from the beginning and with better graphics and everything else. So we'll see how that goes. Right. See, and that's the other problem I've got is I quit playing World of Warcraft and I have no desire to play World of Warcraft now. And part of the reason is all the crap that they did. And of course, Diablo 2 Resurrected, I guess they're calling it. Of course, is a Blizzard game, obviously. So, but if I'm going to take this role as a games commentator, reviewer, etc., I got to be able to compartmentalize and separate the politics and all that stuff from, doing a review, playing it, getting a feel for it, doing a review, doing some commentary on it, etc. So yeah, I'll probably end up getting it and trying it just because I want to be able to do videos about it, etc. So, um, but yeah, I got friends that like Diablo 2 is like, as far as they're concerned, one of the greatest games of all time, and I just never got into it. So, um, I did play a little bit of StarCraft, but again, that was real time strategy, and that just wasn't. It just didn't get me. It wasn't my thing for real time strategy with swarms of all this shit coming at you constantly, and um, I guess it was just it's a higher level of reactivity than I want to do in a video game, as far as StarCraft went. I mean, I remember when StarCraft 2 was the like competitive game, and I would be at like back when they had internet cafes and stuff, and you'd go in there and there'd be people in there playing StarCraft 2, and chaotic. That's the right word. Right there. Chaotic. And they would be, doing stuff, and they had to completely memorize all the keys within their fingertip range, and they're doing all this stuff, and it's like, hey man, I don't need that kind of stress when I'm playing a video game. It's like, um it's like with Baldur's Gate or any of that. I can just hit spacebar and pause it and go, okay, now what do I want to do here? I want to shoot a fireball over there, and I want to do that. I want to put those charm person on those people over there, and do all that, and then have a couple guys shooting arrows, and then hit bang, and let it go, and let it do its thing, and then after you take some damage, pause it again and go, okay, I need to drink a health potion. This character needs to do this. And that just um, seemed to be more my style. And although I played Doom and Quake and all those, and I mean, you just had swarms of shit coming at you. Now, those are first person shooters. So maybe from a first person shooter standpoint, it didn't translate to me as much as chaotic, as stressful as the real time strategy stuff. So, well, it says we have two people in here, but I have no idea. I know we have Mistra in here, Dragon, and I'm assuming we have one other person in here, but they haven't typed anything yet. So, um, whoever you are, we're just talking about Diablo 2 and whether or not who's looking forward to it. Um, if we think that let's another topic on the same subject is what you were talking about, Dragon, was with all the scandal that they've been through with Blizzard. Do you think that it's going to sell well? I mean, I think that there's enough diehard fans out there that don't really care about any of that stuff. They're going to buy it, but I think that it's going to have to have hurt their marketability. So yeah, there's going to be all your and they're going to sell millions probably, but not nearly what they would have if they hadn't had all this scandal shit going on. So um the the part that I kind of feel bad about with Blizzard is I know there's good employees at Blizzard that had nothing to do with any of that stuff, or right, it won't, yeah, exactly. It won't sell like Skyrim. But there's people there that either had nothing to do with it and or were victims of what went on, who I also don't want to see them, because Blizzard has shot themselves in the foot and they start suffering financially, and then those people end up getting laid off or fired or whatever. I would hate to see that collateral damage because of, uh, what was going on. Now, again, some people would say, well, those people by now, they should have already been looking for another job just to get away from Blizzard or whatever. But some of those people they might genuinely love what they do. If they're an artist or, a writer or whatever, they might genuinely love what they do, whether it's at Blizzard or anywhere else. And they're at a company where they feel like they can do some, good work and stuff. And they don't want to feel like they got to just quit because, Blizzard's a shitty company. Maybe they're hoping that it's going to get turned around. And then, of course, if they take such a hit from this bad publicity and this scandal and everything, that they start losing, bleeding money, and start laying people off, that's going to suck. That's just that just makes it even worse, you know. So yeah, a very good point. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of them. There's no way that there isn't a whole bunch of them that have jumped ship already or are thinking about jumping ship. But I would just, yeah, I would hate to see innocent bystanders, you know, suffer because of the stupidity of the people that manage the company, you know. So we'll see how it all, you know, washes out. So Dragon, you've never said whether or not that you whether you like beer or any other adult beverages, or if you're a soda person or tea or coffee or whatever. I don't think you've ever commented on any of my videos, so I know I've got a couple people that follow me um, that are beer people. So I'd love to play it again, but I have too many other games to play and books to read. Um, no, White Rhino. Um, I I actually made a video about that exact topic probably 2 3 years ago. I made a video about the the impossibility of trying to manage the amount of content that we were being served by video game, meaning video games, movies, TV shows. Now that we have all these streaming services, good TV shows, you know, there's a lot of good TV that's better than movies, you know, books that need to be read, comic books. If people like comic, yeah, I'm not a big comic book guy, but there's a lot of people that are. And I made a whole video just about how do you manage to keep up on all the basically, let's say, nerd culture or geek culture stuff. If you want to be a reviewer and a commentator about all that stuff, all those franchises, how the hell did somebody do that and still work a job? Now I've retired now. Even retired, like right now, I had to, my wife and I traveled this weekend, and we're getting ready to have some friends come in tomorrow or Wednesday to go to a concert. So we're going to be, you know, hosting them. And then I've got my turnaround, and then I got my D&D weekly D&D on Friday, and it's like, so even not working, for some reason I'm still busy as hell, you know, and I'm trying to make sure and make content every day for this channel. So I to answer your question, and I've never had kids. That's another thing. I tell people all the time that have kids, I have no idea how people that have kids do it. No idea how they, I mean, because I worked with all these people that had kids and worked full time, and their spouse worked full time. And it's like they're telling me about having to take Susie to soccer and then turn around and take Joey to the dentist and everything. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, it's just me and my wife, and we have a little cat. And we're trying to find time to do everything. And y'all people have kids with all these extracurricular activities and shit. How the hell do y'all do it? It's like, do you have extra hours in the day? I mean, that one's, yeah. Um, no, and Mistra, yeah, what's funny is my dad owned a tobacco store. And so as growing up as a kid, I worked in the tobacco store. I sold cigarettes when I was 12 years old. I was selling cigarettes to people. Of course, this was in the 70s. So, you know, kids, if they did that now, the parents would be put in jail or whatever. But I sold cigarettes at my dad's tobacco store at 12, 13 years old, everything else. And then I went in the army for 5 years. And somehow magically, after all of that, I never started smoking. That, that I consider that an accomplishment, because everybody in the army smoked. If they didn't smoke, they started smoking, because you got to take smoke breaks if you were a smoker. And now I do have a tobacco pipe that I recently, because I love the smell of pipe tobacco, and the if I do enjoy it, with pipe tobacco, you don't inhale it. You just taste the smoke and then you blow it back out. So it's more for the flavor of the tobacco. But it still can't be good for you, right? But we're talking once every maybe a month or two, I might decide to, you know, go outside and smoke a little. I get like I like the cherry blend, the flavored blends of tobacco and stuff like that. So, um, but that's that's like very few and far between. Um, so let's see here. I like Pat smoke strange, good call. Beginning not to smoke. Yeah, is absolutely a good call, and I'm glad that I never started. And like I said, the pipe is, and I may not ever touch it again. It was one of those things I just bought on a whim because, um, you know, it always looked cool when Gandalf would be smoking that big long pipe and everything like that. So, but yeah, with the beer, it's like I let myself have. I usually have one or two a day, maybe. Some days I may go 2-3 days without a beer at all, and then other times I'll have one or two a day. It just depends. The problem is when I was in Germany in the army for 3 years, I lived there for 3 years. I got to um, encounter good German beer, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like American beer is garbage compared to this, and that kind of sealed the deal there, where it was like, and that's why so like today I'm drinking Newcastle Brown Ale. God, can't even see the label. Newcastle Brown Ale, and which is an English beer. However, this looked different to me, and it made me think, well, what the hell? And so I read it, and it's not by the Tadcaster Brewery where it normally is from. For the Americas here, the American market, Laguintas Brewery brews this for them, and that's why it looks different. Tastes the same, but I had no idea that they would even outsource that. Yeah, well, anybody that blows smoke in your face is a dick. So, um, yeah, I mean, they're just being a dick. They're just being an asshole. I mean, I have friends who are smokers, and they are very cognizant and very um, uh, polite with trying to make sure and keep it away from you, and so forth. There will rarely ever they'll go outside and on the other side of the yard or whatever and smoke it. Um, so yeah, anybody that does that. So like if you go to clubs and stuff like that, and you get people doing that shit there, yeah, they're just being an asshole. So, um, but yeah, let's see here. Let me see if I can see anything else here that I missed. Um, so yeah, White Rhino. I wish I had um a better answer for how to schedule time for the consumption of content, of whether it's YouTube videos or movies or reading books, getting caught up on books and stuff like that. I have yet to find the secret, I will tell you. And I thought, well, man, when I'm retired, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to have time to do. I'm going to have a schedule. Mondays, I'm going to play video games. Tuesdays, I'm going to read books. Wednesdays, I'm going to get caught up on TV series. And everything. That bullshit went right out the window because all of a sudden there's all this other personal stuff you got to take. You got people coming into town to visit. You got to go visit people. You got to go do this. And then real life, whether you got to go to the doctor or the dentist and all this other shit. And it's like, well, and I was going to ask you, Dragon. I didn't know if you were like a full-time social media person, like on Instagram or on YouTube. Or I know I've seen your channel. I've watched some of your videos and stuff, but I didn't know if you had a regular job or not. So, because it seems like you're pretty prevalent on social media. You're a lot better at it than I am. You know, if I would have been smart this weekend when we were traveling, I should have been tweeting the whole time, all different shit we were doing and all that stuff. And I just don't think about it when my wife and I are together and we're doing stuff that I'm not thinking about. I need to tweet this out. I need to take pictures and send them out to Instagram. I don't think about it. So I wish I did. I should. you know. But um, so we got 4 people in here, it says, but I'm definitely not touching that goddamn chat box to see who's in here because I don't want the damn thing to disappear on me. So um, I'm playing Path of Exiles, Celeste, and Grim Dawn. Didn't play anything last more than a few hours to get something done in game. Okay. Yeah, see, that's the other problem is a lot of the games that I like are not games where you can just jump in quickly and just kill 30 minutes and just, mindlessly, do some shit or whatever. Like you're saying, if I want to jump into Fallout 4, I want to jump into Fallout 4 and I want to go do some quests. I want to get a couple quests done. Then while you're doing that, all of a sudden you've got settlements that are saying, "Hey, this settlement's under attack," and you got to try and go help them. And before you know it, 2 hours is gone. So there's no such thing as the half-hour thing. And the same goes with most of the games that I like, the style of games that I like. So that does make it difficult too. I mean, if somebody's a Call of Duty person, multiplayer, and they just want to jump on and cause mayhem in a couple matches, just do a couple matches and then jump out, that's great. I don't have I'm not that's not my type of thing. I used to do it with Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 was my multiplayer game. I have well over 1,000 hours in Team Fortress 2, and I could do that back in the. But I haven't felt the need or the want to get back into Team Fortress 2 in a long time. I think mainly because it became a more of a hat selling game. All these people wanting to sell these, all these cosmetics and stuff, and then you could actually collect enough items to dismantle them and then make, you had recipes, you could make stuff or whatever to sell and all that. But it became a lot more about that than to just jump on and, you know, and just have some fun. Because the only map that I tried every map in Team Fortress 2 at the time, tried every single map, all of them. Nope, Two Fort. Two Fort is the greatest map in Team Fortress 2. It's the first original map, and it's still the greatest map because it's so goddamn simple, and it is equal. It's equal for both teams, 100% mirrored, exactly the same. And I used to play on a server that just played Two Fort. That was the only map that they rotated, and yeah, um, that was a blast back in the day. And I was a pyro. That was my class. I tried what was it, spy, and I was a shitty spy. I thought I'd be good at it because I always like in D&D and all that. I love playing stealth characters. But I think the mechanic in TF2, the action is too hectic to really. I mean, there's people that are excellent spies in Team Fortress 2, and they can gank people like clockwork. I mean, they're just like, and then they're instantly back. Somehow they're back cloaked again, and it's like. But the problem is, you got all this AOE damage, and you're always getting decloaked from AOE damage. And I'm sure there's a way around that, and they've done their time in the class to get around that. But for me, it was like Pyro was just like, especially once I got good at Backblast. I don't know if you guys have ever played TF2, but as a Pyro, when you have your flamethrower, right mouse button air blasts. So if somebody throws grenades and shit at you, you just hit. If you time it right, you can blast it right back in their face. And I got good at that. I got really good at the back and balancing the two, attack and backblast and all that. And so that became my game for multiplayer more than Call of Duty or any of that stuff. I mean, Call of Duty got taken over by, some really toxic entities, and it's like, get good, scrub, or whatever, and it's like the teabagging thing and, all that stuff. And it's like, I like Call of Duty for the campaigns, stuff like that, but the multiplayer, not for me. So there's a whole rant about multiplayer stuff there, so that just came out of nowhere. But um Yeah, I mean, so Dragon, what you talking about, when you tweet out stuff and everything, I see everything you tweet out. I see all the anime stuff that you and I there's another thing, there's another confession. I have never watched a single episode of any anime. I've never, not that I don't want to, it's just that I never think about it when I'm sitting in front of Netflix or whatever. I never think about, oh, I need to check out anime. Um, and I know that, is it Clash on Titans or something like that? It's supposed to be the one they say you should start with. And I never did it, and I need to, because I certainly am not opposed to it. But I never freaking think about it when I'm sitting there on in front of Netflix on the couch or whatever. I start scrolling through other shit. Attack on Titan. That's it. So is that the one? Do you agree, Dragon? That's the one that to start with if you're gonna to like dive into anime. Now I know anime and manga are two different things. So I'm pretty sure we're talking about anime here. So is there any other anime watchers here that want to chime in? Because I have done Pokemon Go. Of course, that's off the anime thing, but well, everybody keeps the people when I've talked to them about it. Um, they're always like, the first one you watch is important, and I'm not sure why that's. Maybe it's particular to anime that is important that because maybe it's that if you don't do it right, you'll immediately get turned off from it or something. I don't know, but so Hunter by Hunter and Death Note are also good first. Okay, so I will keep that in mind when I finally sit down and the thing goes off in the brain that says, "Hey man, don't forget you wanted to start watching some anime." I will, if I have to, I'll even come back to this video and look through the comments here. Attack on Titan was the one that stuck in my brain because they all were telling me that. So we'll see. Um, yeah, I never watched Dragon Ball either. Um, now I did watch some of the animated Castlevania series. I think it was on Netflix. It might have been Amazon, but I don't know if that qualifies as anime. But I did watch a few episodes of that. And I really liked that. So, but again, it goes back to what White Rhino is saying. It's like, okay, I go down this rabbit hole of, you know, uh, anime, let's say, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, I've been watching anime for a week, and of course, then now I haven't been playing any video games or reading anything, or and it's like there just isn't enough time. Dragon Ball is a shonen anime, which means battle animes like Bleach and Naruto. I always forget how to say that, or I always want to say Naruto, but I do know the run, the Naruto run, where the guy runs with his back with his hands like that. I do know that. I just never have watched the actual shows. See, there's all this is I'm reading all it. I guarantee this is a rabbit hole. You start watching it and not a, but apparently when all these people were down by Area 51, remember that? Was it a year ago or 2 years ago when they were all going to storm Area 51, and they were talking about everybody's going to do the Naruto run when they storm, and there was even some dude out there, like the news was out there, and the dude's doing it, running back and forth like that. It was kind of funny, I gotta say. Not very effective, but it was funny. So yeah, they weren't real successful on that. Um, they weren't real successful on that siege of Area 51. They didn't they didn't accomplish very much. I think a couple people got arrested, but other than that, they did not make any any headway into Area 51 to see whatever they thought they were going to find. You know, whether it was aliens or alien spacecraft or whatever. You know, so but that was kind of fun. I think that was just something tells me that was before COVID because I don't really. Yeah, so exactly the guards were level 20. Yeah, yeah, the guards were level 20 and they all had, level 20 guard dogs too, So, yeah, that was all right. So so yeah, this I think this is the first time. Oh, Dragon, I think you were in another live that I did, but I was hoping that there's a couple other people that um wanted to jump in, but it might already be too late. Yeah, 2019, that sounds about right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think more or less they went down there and partied. They all basically had a giant tailgate and partied. So I guess from that standpoint, as long as they had fun and they didn't hurt nobody, they didn't hurt anything. You know, like I said, there's a couple people that got arrested. I think were trying to scale a fence or do something, but other than that, it was pretty harmless. So I'm trying to think of what else is coming out that um, I'm Skyrim. So I'm probably gonna I'm probably gonna knuckle under and get the stupid 10th anniversary Skyrim that's getting ready to come out. And they added, fishing. Um, I don't know. I'm hoping they add some more content other than that. But, you know, for some fucking reason, I am a sucker for Bethesda games in the Fallout and Skyrim franchises. I I don't know what it is, but it's like if they came out with a Fallout 4, you know, what has it been now? 5 years, 7 years, whatever. If they came out with some kind of like remastered or a new version or some shit that and they added some content and they did some different things and maybe they added some DLC or not DLC but mods that modders had done some of the really good mods like the unofficial Fallout 4 patch and some of the other bigger ones, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna incorporate that into the game and re-release it as a remaster, whatever." I know I'd buy the goddamn thing because I'm an idiot when it comes to shit like that. If it's a franchise that I really like, it's like Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 is still in early access, and of course I bought it and started it up. Didn't like what I was seeing, so I haven't played it again because I'm waiting because it's still in early access and I'm waiting to see what they're going to do with it to try and fix everything. And but I know that like I didn't try and get a refund or anything. I could have because I didn't play it very much, and with the Steam refund policy, I could have refunded it. Too late now, but it goes back to what I was saying. If it's a franchise that I like, I am extremely forgiving for some fucking reason. You know, um, maybe other people aren't, but the only one I think I might have finally had enough of is World of Warcraft. Like I don't have any desire at all to jump back into that. Yeah, and um, I didn't even get the last. So the last one, Shadowlands, I didn't even get the collector's edition. I have all the other collector's editions, and that was easy to I was pre-ordered everything, and the the secondary market freaking sniper scalper bastards bought all of them up, and started reselling them at 3 times the price and all that. Um, used to play WoW years ago and realized one day I was working in the game to make money to buy upgrades. Yeah, it became a job. Yep, that's what a lot of people. Yeah. Um, are you talking about the element when you say ingots? Are you talking about elementium ingots? Is that what you're talking about? Um, That's when I stopped. I want a Torment Tides of Numenera 2. Okay. So Dragon, did you play the original Torment? They remastered it. Um, and then they re-released it. And they uh then they did Tides of Numenera. And now you're saying you want a okay. So Dragon, if you in the meanwhile, while you're waiting for the second one, like for a sequel to the Tides of Numenera, you really should go back and get the regular, like the original Torment, Planescape Torment, but get the remastered one, um, and play through that because that's considered a legendary game. Um, it really is, and that's why they wanted the people came out and wanted to make this Tides of Numenera because the first one was considered such a legendary game. Um, oh, you got it. Okay. Yeah, it's I think that'll hold it's a good holdover game. Like if you're thinking that maybe they're gonna work on a second one, a sequel to Tides of Numenera, try that original one. It's fantastic. So and then what was it? The new Pathfinder? I didn't play Kingmaker. Um and I don't there, for some reason I had some people tell me they didn't like Kingmaker and it seemed to drop in price really, really quickly. Like discounted. Uh, and I didn't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of reviews and all that I can read. Um, but I've heard this sequel to it. Whatever the hell the name of it is. Let's see here if I can find it real quick. If I go down here, it is Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Uh, Apparently, that one, the sequel to Kingmaker, is getting great reviews and like selling like hotcakes. So that might be worth playing the first one. Wrath of the Righteous looks great. I liked Kingmaker, but I have to admit the newer one looks better. Okay. So you did play Kingmaker. Okay. So um I'm guessing on a sale then Kingmaker is worth picking up if I because I haven't got it yet. So again, that's something else I got to make some uh the Pathfinder game looked cool on Steam, but her Dragon Age Origins is good. If you never played Dragon Age Origins, the first Dragon Age, you need to play that. That's again another legendary game. Now, people had problems with the sequels. I never played any of the sequels, but the original Dragon Age Origins, shit, that I put a ton of time into that. That was the only thing I didn't like about that. And I'm not going to do any spoilers here, but Dragon Age Origins, the only thing I didn't like about that was I did not like. I'm not. It's not just the ending. It's not the right way to say it. There's there is an objective you've got to finish at the towards the end that I did not like. Um, and so I got to that far, and then that was it. I just didn't. I think I even started a new playthrough, and I just didn't like the ending part of it at all. So, um, okay, so it's a separate story, so you don't have to do them in order. It's not like Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2, where you really want to do those in order. You know, yeah. White Rhino, if you never played Origins, yeah, Origins is like she said, it's amazing. Yeah, see, she's dead on. That's exactly what, from what I've seen, everybody Dragon Age Origins is considered a legendary game. The second one, people had a lot of issues with. The third one was okay, but so that's basically what I'm seeing from other. Hey, Bastille Lungborough. Wow, that sounds like a D&D character name if I ever heard one. Greetings from Minnesota, one of the few states in the out of the 50 I have not been to. I've been to a lot of the 50 states. That Alaska, West Virginia, North Dakota, and then a couple of the ones up in the Northeast there. But everything else I've pretty much been to. But yeah, Minnesota is one of the ones I got to go to because I have heard that Minnesota is home to a few really good game stores, like for vintage gaming, for tabletop, um, video games, the whole shebang. Now, whether or not that's true, I mean, I could sit down and do some research, but. And White Rhino, you're from Pennsylvania? Or is PA for a town in Minnesota? Because you've got PA and MN. So I'm guessing you're saying green. Okay. So I've been all over Pennsylvania. I have family in Pennsylvania. So um, yeah, and I got a friend who's getting ready to retire back to Pennsylvania. So um, Kennett Square is where my family is at. And that was a fantastic little town when we visited there. That is the mushroom capital of America. I guess they grow a shit ton of mushrooms in Kennett Square. But they had a great bar there that had it was also a restaurant, and they had all kinds of exotic meats and stuff like that. They had, of course, bison, and they had ostrich, and they had all these different things. And then they had an excellent ice cream place in Kennett Square. Can't remember the name of that, but it's just a cool little town. But been to Hershey, been to drove all through it. So yeah. But in Pennsylvania, y'all got some strange. I'm gonna say you guys got some strange. We have strange alcohol laws in Utah. Pennsylvania, you ain't far behind because we were camping, and I thought I'll go to the grocery store to buy some beer. Couldn't buy it at the grocery store. I had to go to a bar to buy it to go. Um, and which was weird. I had to go in and I bought 2 6-packs, and because I was buying it at the bar to go, it was so yes, it's nuts. So I'm not crazy. It was weird because I was like, why am I buying 6-packs at a bar? Why can't I just go to the grocery store and buy 6-packs? But anyway, so that was one of my. So we camped at Hershey, Pennsylvania. They have a nice campsite, and there's like a shuttle that takes you to the park and takes you on the tour and the whole shittery. So if anybody that hasn't done that, if anybody's listening that hasn't done Hershey, Pennsylvania, that is a fantastic little just experience. Just to go to the Hershey plant where they make the chocolate and all that stuff. They give you the little tour. The tour's free, if I remember correctly, inside the tour, and then they take you through the whole town because basically that whole town exists because of the plant. And then they have a cool. If you like camping, you can camp out at the nice campsite there. So. It's basically Dark Souls on nightmare difficulty, not a joke. Oh, I never thought about what they would do during the holidays there, White Rhino. I go to the Source in St. Paul. Dave Arneson used to go there occasionally. See, that's that. There you go. Was it Dave Arneson or one of them? It might have been Major Wesley, who actually was the guy who came up with the idea when he made Braunstein. He was the one who came up with role playing as a concept and showed it to Dave Arneson. But I'm sidetracked there. Major Wesley, I think, went to the University of Minnesota. I think. Okay, so lucky you. You got some Dave Arneson signed stuff. Wow. Yeah, so yeah, Minnesota's on the list now that retirement is here. If I can ever get the wife to decide to retire, then we can start doing some serious traveling. And we're going to do a lot of road tripping because I hate flying. So we're going to be doing a lot of road tripping, and Minnesota is numero uno on the list of states I want to visit. So, of course, not during the winter. because that would be stupid. To Athens. Now, I'm assuming you're talking about Athens, Greece. Now, I've been to Greece twice in the army, but I went to the island of Crete both times. I did not go to Athens. And Crete was Greece was amazing. It was fantastic, and we were there during the summertime, so it was beautiful weather, and you could get now what we call gyros, you know, that you get like at the stands and stuff like at Greek places here and everything. There, they had little stands that you could go to, like we have taco trucks here. They had stands there, and they called them souvlakis. Now I know you can get a souvlaki plate and everything, but what they were selling was these souvlaki, basically a gyro that they called a souvlaki. And I remember you could get one of those like fresh made and a Budweiser beer, or whatever beer they were selling. I can't remember what it was, but you could get both for $2. It was like $1 for the beer and $1 for the sandwich. And us army guys, we're exploring that whole island, and these little carts that sell these damn things are everywhere. So we're just eating a sandwich, having a beer, you know what I mean, and go do a few things, whatever, and then come out. Oh, there's another stand. Time for another souvlaki and another beer, you know. And we did that because it was $2. It's cheap as shit, and we did that all over the island of Crete. Then we did some snorkeling in the Mediterranean Sea, which was amazing. Beautiful out there, ran huge showers and bedrooms and slept on the ocean. It was great. Probably, I'm guessing in the Mediterranean. Yes, I believe Wesley has attended the FFG store a couple of years in Roseville, but he ran a Bronstein game. Wow. So you do know who David Wesley, Major Wesley is, and the fact that Bronstein. So those of you that are watching that may not know this story, that know about Dungeons and Dragons, real quick, there's a guy named David Wesley. Everybody calls him Major Wesley because he was in the military. He created a game called Bronstein way back in the 70s, early 70s. And when he created it, it was a war game, but he incorporated role playing. You could role play the characters in the game, and then he showed that game to Dave Arneson, and Dave Arneson said, "Hey, this would be really cool for me to take this and put it incorporate it into my Blackmore world that he had created." And so now you have Blackmore, which is technically a Dungeons and Dragons campaign with role playing in it, and he showed it to Gary Gygax, and Gary Gygax said, "Wow, this is crazy. We could really do something with this." And then Gary wrote Greyhawk, the game world Greyhawk, and the original rules for Dungeons and Dragons. But it all started with Major Wesley with Bronstein. So if anybody is to be given the full credit for coming up with role playing in a game, Major Wesley is the guy. So there's your full history lesson. And I met him at Lake Geneva at GaryCon, and he tells the whole story. And they've done a documentary it's on Prime Video, and it's something Blackmore. Not the World of Blackmore, History of Blackmore, something like that. If you just search on Amazon Blackmore, there's a documentary that talks about all of this. And it basically explains how we got to where we are now in gaming, because all these games we've been talking about, Dragon Age, World of Warcraft, Fallout, any of that shit, none of it would exist if it wasn't for Major Wesley coming up with the idea for Bronstein and giving it to Arneson, who gave it to Gygax, created Dungeons and Dragons. And then every game that came after that had any kind of stats, strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, blah, 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 that's all goes right back to Dungeons and Dragons, which started with Bronstein. So you talk about somebody who changed the world, at least the world of gaming, that's it. Secrets of Blackmore. There it is. That's the title of the documentary. Ed Greenwood is my favorite just because of Forgotten Realms. Ed Greenwood's a great guy too. I've never gotten to meet him. He's never been at GaryCon when I was there. The 2 times I've been there. And um, oh, okay. So you know better than I do, Bastille. He was at the Secrets of Blackmore premiere in Minneapolis. Awesome. So I don't know if I can't remember if I'm right or not, but I'm pretty sure he went to college in Minnesota. So that's why I thought that maybe the game store, um, uh, their prevalence there in Minnesota would be kind of high. It was because of the history and all that. So um, yeah, he is kind of a hermit, and there's pictures of him. Speaking of Ed Greenwood here, there are pictures if you want to Google it of Ed Greenwood at his house with his library. Now, I've got bookshelves and stuff back here. Um, but that dude has bookshelves on every part of every wall in his like den, game room, whatever you want to call it. And then he had to add shelves that go across the walkway. So you actually walk under shelves that are full of books because he ran out of room on the walls in his library. And they're actually sagging a little bit from the weight of the books as you walk under them. It's pretty crazy. Um, but so you talk about so the hermit thing. Yeah, if he's got time to read all them damn books, it's probably because he doesn't go anywhere, So well, I got to call this quits here pretty soon because the wife, uh, I got to do TV time with the wife. She's already laid down the gauntlet that we got to watch a movie or something tonight. So, well, that was a lot of fun. We talked about a lot of different topics. Holy shit, covered a lot of stuff. Everything from travel to the history of role playing to um, all kinds of shit. Yeah. Well, you ain't kidding, White Rhino. The boss has spoken. We call it wife aggro. You know. Um, yeah, but although I never say that in front of her, So and she doesn't watch my videos, so I'm good there. So um, yeah. Um, yeah, if you're ever, I don't know if you guys have, it might be pretty common now, but yeah, back in the day, like when I was a competitive guy on Counter Strike or Team Fortress, the two that I really got into, um, yeah, so every once in a while you'd be right in the middle of something, and somebody'd go, uh, oh, hang on a second, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go wife aggro, because so, and I think I've even heard a few say husband aggro, so. Um, Yeah, thanks everybody that stopped by. I appreciate it. We got up to 9 people here. Um, well, then then I'm doomed, Dragon. If well, I don't mention her very much on the videos, so I think I'm pretty safe. She'd have to do some deep diving to find any references. So, but you never know. Um, all right, guys. Um, until tomorrow, I don't know what I'm going to cover tomorrow. It probably won't be a live. I'll end up doing a video about something, but I'm trying to balance. I got friends coming in for that concert and everything, so I will try to hey Edward Green. I will I'll try to get something done every single day, some kind of content for you guys, either in game, a live, an unboxing, a beer 30 where we just shoot the shit, whatever. So all right, guys, we will catch you on the flip side.